Disaster recovery, real estate decisions. This is all about being a real estate resource after a disaster, helping real estate agents understand the unique challenges faced by homeowners in distress and what I would do, what you should do in the event of that distress, and what resource you can provide for people in distress. Because when people experience a distress like this, they're going to face many crossroad decisions. There's a lot of things they're going to be facing. They're going to need more different information, and every decision is going to count. They're going to have to take inventory of where they are right now and what they have and where they want to be. They're going to have to chart a course which, by the way, they're going to have to put the cart before the horse, and they're going to have to avoid crisis management. A real estate agent is in a position to be able to help them navigate this process, to help them understand the many real estate decisions that are going to occur as a result of this crisis, as a result of this disaster, and you can help them navigate through this with your knowledge and your skill and your understanding of this process. But the big thing for all people in this situation is not to put the cart before the horse. You need to know, they're going to need to know what they're going to be able to spend before they rebuild or even talk about rebuilding. They're going to have to analyze all their other options. This is where you come in to help them compare their benefits. They're going to have to quantify the income tax, insurance, real estate, investment, and lifestyle decisions and benefits. And then they're going to need to develop a plan of which to proceed. It's actually a very complicated process. But what they're going to have to do is go back to the beginning and understand what real estate is all about, because they're here to realign this asset with their life. What is real estate? Good question. It's shelter, basically. It's also a tax benefits. It's a leveraged asset. It's a retirement plan, a process. Their lifestyle benefits that they get right now in living in that home. It's a large monthly obligation, and for some, for many, most, it's some level, some form of financial security. So what is it to them? And what do they value most of all in this process? Because people, when they experience a loss, they have all sorts of real estate options, and there's categories that you can place each of these homeowners in based on their debt, equity, and insurance. Let's look at them. The well-insured has lots of equity in their home and lots of insurance. They might be well-insured, but over-encumbered. They perhaps owe more now than their home would be worth. They're underinsured, meaning they don't have a lot of insurance, but they have lots of equity. Or in fact, the other way, they're underinsured and in fact over-encumbered. Then of course, not insured, lots of equity, or not insured, over-encumbered. Any one of those situations is going to have a different outcome, a different plan, a different strategy, a different way to deal with the problem. And you want to be able to identify the options, and there are options available. Many people in distress only think of the one, which is basically get the insurance and rebuild their home. Well, in fact, they might do better off by selling the lot, paying off the debts, and renting. They, of course, might just rebuild that home on the existing lot, or perhaps a different home on that existing lot. They might sell the lot, buy a new lot, and build a new home. Nobody says that you have to stay there, because they're at crossroads. They have choices. They have options. Broaden their bandwidth. This is what a real estate agent can do, is help them understand all those things. They could get the insurance proceeds, sell the lot, and buy an existing home. They can buy an existing home, rebuild on the lot, sell the one, and keep one other, or both. You see, there's more options than one. There's more flavors in this solution than just vanilla. There's pistachio almond fudge, all sorts of different choices. If you understand the pieces of the recovery puzzle, this is an insurance issue because there's a temporary housing allowance that is provided by insurance. There's insurance replacement of the building, of the home you're looking at. There's mortgage financing. government grants and loans available to people in distress. There's the equity that they have or have in the property. There's the tax benefits that they would get from the loss. And then there's the cash flow from the earnings that they would get in the event of an insurance settlement. You need to understand each one of these things will impact the recovery of them. Now, identifying these options perhaps is a little more complicated, and it depends on what people believe in the market. For instance, if they believe property values will drop and want out, they might consider selling the lot or selling the lot and renting, or they might sell at a pre-fire value and assign the insurance. If they don't have adequate insurance, they might just sell the lot and rent or short sale the lot. If they own more on the property than it's worth, including the insurance, all they can do is the short sale. They don't like the area. They might move out entirely, and they can do any and all of the above. If they want to move up or down, they'll do something different. If they want life to get back to normal sooner than later, they again would have some of these different options. It's important to understand all of these in a consulting, in a planning process. Now, here's an interesting thought. A lot of people think, well, I experienced the loss, I just have to build. Well, maybe not. What you might be able to do, assuming you have adequate insurance, is you can sell the property at a pre-fire value. Now imagine you had your property on the market, or the owner had the property on the market before the fire, and it didn't sell, it burnt down instead. Imagine you could walk away as if you sold the home the day before the fire hit, hassle-free, low risk, and then assign it, sell it at pre-fire value and let someone else deal with the insurance company. It might seem like a gift. You as a real estate agent can go out there and deliver that to them. Imagine what that would mean. These are the real estate decisions that people have and need. Here's some of the lot sell options. You can sell the lot, cash out insurance proceeds, pay off the loans, and rent. Now, if you don't have equity and adequate insurance, you can negotiate to have the lender accept less than it's owed. It's a short sale. Or you can sell the lot and purchase a different lot and use the proceeds to build a new home. People can purchase a new home. Doesn't mean that you have to rebuild. Use insurance benefits as a down payment for the new home and sell the lot. Or you can use the temporary housing funds as the down payment for a new home, and then go out and rebuild your existing lot and sell one or the other. You can increase the cost basis for the new home, which is a benefit, transfer the tax basis to the new one. You can get creative again if you understand the pieces of the puzzle. Here's some rebuilding options. You might be able to rebuild based on the highest and best use of the property instead of the personal needs. For instance, you might only need a 1,200 square foot home, but the area that you live in now might warrant a 2,500 or 3,000 square foot home. You could rebuild to the needs of the market, sell it at a higher price, and then buy something else. You can rebuild the same home as was destroyed in the fire. You can rebuild to meet your current needs. Maybe your family's grown. Maybe your family has shrunk. There's all sorts of different things that might have occurred. You might use the insurance proceeds and the mortgage debt for available cash for the difference. You can rebuild anything you can afford and use whatever assets are available, but you got to figure out what those assets are. Now here's some other things to look at. Look at the permittability. Did you know that the future owner, if you were to sell the lot, has limited use and rebuilding opportunities than the current owner might? You've got permittability, the highest and best use of the property. You've got insurance proceeds. For instance, the policy limits will provide limited benefits in the event that you take cash instead of building. That's an important consideration. Temporary housing, you have proceeds. And these, again, different situations, whether you were to rebuild or to purchase a new home or to just take the cash. There's a market value. You need to evaluate the value in the cost of the highest best, and also the lifestyle alignment. You want to align your lifestyle to your life. And then timing, because the truth is timing is an issue in all of this. Many people will spend years trying to unwind this mess. Sooner is obviously better than later for most people. Now let's look to the effect that the fire might have on market values in the surrounding area. I mean, short term, there's going to be fire sales. There's going to be more property on the market. There's going to be midterm during that. There's going to be a redevelopment transition where the neighborhood's a little messed up. Now, longer term, you're going to be looking at higher quality as the housing stock and the values are increased, assuming the whole neighborhood gets built out. Or maybe some people can't build. There's going to be vacant lots, and there's going to be a supply of vacant lots that is going to push prices down. You need to realize that in the event of a loss, the only thing that doesn't go down is the land value. The only thing that's left is the land value. So it's an important consideration to know how that's going to affect the future and its future value in the short, mid, and long range goals. You want to understand and evaluate the pieces of the plan. One of the pieces, the insurance benefits, the tax benefits, the value of the home improved and or the lot, the highest and best use for the property, and also you want to understand your cost basis for the home. Again, these are all pieces of the plan, pieces of the puzzle, and you need to understand what you do. Let's look at an example of a home. This is an area of Rancho Bernardo. Had a lot value of $400,000. Now, pre-fire, the home had a value of about $800,000 for a 2,500 square foot home. Now, most homes in the area were underdeveloped, meaning that the newer homes that are being built were much bigger, much nicer. And the lot in that area would actually dictate a larger home at a larger sales price. And if they were to just replace that home, they would be rebuilding it under value for the neighborhood. Important considerations. What this means is dependent upon the debt, the equity, the lifetime goals, hopes, and dreams of the owner. A real estate consultant that understands this can help people work and walk through this process. One of the things you want to do in any situation is to calculate the lot equity, and there's a formula for that. You've got lot value plus the mortgage loans plus the insurance proceeds equals your net lot equity. Again, your net lot equity is going to affect the decision that you make. Depending on the lot value or what the debt that you have or the insurance proceeds that you get, you can be under or overvalued and not have enough. You want to calculate the rebuild of your home and the equity, and that formula is the completed home value less the rebuild cost plus the mortgage loans minus insurance proceeds equals your net equity. You want to understand where you are post-fire, pre-fire, in order to keep from losing track. Now, what should you do about these choices that you have? What are some of the questions that you ask? Would you repurchase the property that you have right now that you're planning to rebuild, or would you do something different in a different place, in a different area, different size? You're at crossroads. Now's the time to decide. Is the home that you have right for the market, for the lot, and for even you? How could you better align perhaps this asset with your life at this point in time in your life? Is it worth it for the next 3 years or so to go through this process to get back to a place you can call home? Or is there a quicker alternative that you would like much, much better? Good questions to have. Now, here's a reason to build as opposed to just taking your cash settlement, taking the money and allegedly running. You could receive a larger insurance proceeds if you do. You don't have to leave your neighborhood. You're going to preserve your low tax base. You get a brand new home Well, look at it this way. You can actually rebuild elsewhere to a lot in an area of your choosing. Just expand your mind and your thought process to understand these opportunities. And a real estate professional can help people understand that. Here's reasons not to build: construction costs, they're too high. Difficult and confusing process, no doubt about that. But maybe you don't want to live in that area. Maybe you're tired of the fire process and tired of the risk of the fire, or you don't like the area or the neighborhood. You can't afford the replacement cost and want to get everything behind you as quick as you possibly can. Those might be the reasons not to build. Now, what's the next step? Easy. Don't put the cart before the horse, right? Gather all your resources, understand all of the options, ask yourself what you can afford to do, choose what you want to do, and put together a plan to do it. It sounds easy and simple. Well, it's not. Unfortunately, most people don't understand the pieces of the puzzle and the process, and add to that the absolute misery, the distress, the emotional and financial loss. It's not surprising that people are paralyzed and stand there and do nothing, or they do the wrong thing. Look at the assets, understand what they are. Insurance proceeds if you build, if you don't build. Property equity, the formula that we talk about. What is it? If you build, if you don't build, what assets would you have in various scenarios? There's build or buy considerations. We talked about it before, the amount of the insurance proceeds. What would the higher proceeds be if you were to build a home? You're going to get an insurance settlement that might be a little bit larger versus smaller. You could buy an existing home, perhaps below replacement costs, instead of paying the high-end retail, perhaps of building a new home. And can you build, or the future lot owner, build what you might be able to do, because you might have a greater benefit or an opportunity as an owner that someone else wouldn't have. You have to just evaluate all these processes, the proceeds and the benefits that you would get. And then look at the outlook for rebuilding. 6 to 18 months during a disaster like this, you're going to look at 10 to 20% higher construction costs during rebuilding, just because supply and demand, labor costs, all those things are going to, there's a lot of activity in a market if you all of a sudden drop 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 homes in the market and rebuild it in one area at one time. Larger costs, limited labor, longer construction cycle actually as a result of limited labor. And the current market slowdown actually is an issue, and the permittability to future buyers. Those are some of the things that are going to be affecting the outlook for the future rebuilding. And the outlook is one of the places you want to find yourself. You have choices, and you obviously want to make them well, make them good, make them work for you. Disaster recovery, real estate decisions, it's a situation that you really want to gain as much knowledge and surround yourself with people that can help you work through this process. Protivity, we offer a free disaster recovery guide that will go into detail with a lot of the concepts that we brushed over very quickly in this short presentation. I want to help you understand your options, your opportunities, and help you navigate the insurance, construction, real estate, and life decisions you have moving forward. My name is Dan Holbrook. Thank you for your time and wish you the best of luck in navigating this process. Thank you.